All right. I'm Ryan Smith. Welcome. Thanks for checking out West Coast Bias. Like, subscribe, all that good stuff. I think I'm 8 away from being monetized, so be super sick. Tell your siblings, cousins, aunts, all that kind of stuff. I might keep the music going since I'm going solo today. Haven't done any solo live streams. Made solo videos, no solo live streams, but this Brock Purdy news. I just had to talk. I had to get a few thoughts out there. First one is, all of a sudden the mistakes look a lot different after realizing the dude got his head pummeled. Absolutely pummeled. I'm assuming everybody that's watching this has watched the video. I think PFF tweeted it out. Another side note, what's up with someone will take a video from the broadcast and it's a super grainy, crappy video, and then that gets tweeted out, and then everyone is just so lazy on Twitter. Everyone just steals the same video and uses the same video. It's there's a much better, more high quality version of this out here if somebody wants to go to a little bit of effort. But I guess that's just the culture of Twitter now. Even if you're Warren Sharp, you just take whatever video's hot and go. All right, I'm already off track. Anyway, dude got pummeled. Then they do another QB sneak. It works. And then he throws his pick. Finishes the game 2 for 6 with 2 picks. Overall, though, anybody that watched Larry's stream, they realized I felt pretty good about Brock's performance. Yes, he makes the 2 mistakes at the end, but for 90% of the game, he was awesome. In fact, he was it was weird. I think as Niners fans, people have watched the Niners, we're also accustomed to oh man, if Jimmy G just doesn't F this up, they're going to win this game. They're going to win all these games. This was a weird game where the defense just didn't show up. They couldn't really get much going in the running game. He didn't have all his weapons. And I thought he was awesome to start the game. I thought he was really, really good. But okay, here we go. Mark Graves says, I understand the QB sneak, but you got CMC and Mason that are bruisers. Yeah, haven't seen enough of a sample size. Jimmy G is the GOAT QB sneaker. Probably it goes the actual GOAT, Tom Brady, then Jimmy G. Purdy, the sample size is a little small still. So I'm not really sure. He was able to get the yard on I believe it was 4th down. So, but anyway, all that to say, I've got a few notes on this. One relates to an alternative for it probably won't happen this year, but I have a proposed alternative for you, Kyle Shanahan. I've been thinking about this actually even before the Brock news came out. But first I want to say, so the look ahead on this Bengals game was Niners -7. Then, of course, even with the Bengals off of a bye and the Niners on a short week, then the Niners kind of shit down their leg on Monday night and it moves to 6.5. Now, the Brock Purdy news comes out. Line moves to 3.5 with the money. Let's just say it's 3.5, bet it even. Basically, it's on its way to 3. It will be at 3, 100%. I think it's just waiting on that announcement that Brock is definitely out. Then it drops to 3, maybe even 2.5. It's possible. But that's just interesting from the standpoint of okay, so Vegas thinks that Darnold is about a 3.5 point downgrade from Brock. And I think that's probably fair. Yeah, a little bit over a field goal. That's probably fair. But I've completely spin zoned this game because part of me says wow, this is a really bad spot. Bengals are motivated. Ravens are cruising. The goddamn zombie Pittsburgh Steelers are somehow only have 2 losses. The Browns pulled games out of their asses the past 2 weeks. They should not have beat the Colts. I still think they should not have beat the Niners. but they pulled them both out. So the Bengals, even though they played well, just being on bye, they lost. They lost a half a game. So the Bengals need this one. Fresh out of the bye, Burrow's healthy. Lou Anarumo is going to have that defense ready to go. Hendrickson, I think, has 4 sacks in his last 6 games. It's a little scary. And so this was just lining up to be not a great spot heading into a bye. I was kind of thinking, okay, Brock, all right, Brock starting, but I felt like there was a chance the team was going to be tight in this one. But what's great about Brock, and I've already flipped it to this is a great thing. Brock being out, Darnold in. I think that this is going to be the inverse of the Vikings game, because I really believe that like Brock was like the best part of the Niners for 3/4 of that game. And now it's time. This is the game. The defense has been getting shit all week. Steve Wilks is getting thrown under the bus by Kyle Shanahan. Everyone's dogging him on social media. Fred Warner came out after the game, and I mean, it's so early in the season, but he was pissed. He was like, "We know we can win 30-10. When we get up big, like of course our defense it's built to look good. It makes it much easier for us to, turn the ball over, get a bunch of sacks, and just start adding to that lead. But I want to know that this team can win ugly. I want to win these grimy games." Now what they're walking into is going to be a grimy game, and Fred Warner called this week 8 in the NFL season. He called it a must win. Now, this was before Purdy was announced out, but still, he said it's a must win. So he is the leader of that defense. Now, Steve Wilks is, if there ever was a time for him to just come up with to be super locked in, I mean, I really believe that Vikings game, the whole team kind of showed up flat, except for Brock, because he didn't finish out the Cleveland game great. I think they were banged up, and it was just a tough road trip. I'm completely buying into the idea that they just got the hell beat out of them in that Browns game. And I think the Browns got the hell beat out of them too. You saw it. The Browns let up 38 points to the Gardner Minshew Colts, and that includes a ton of turnovers by the Colts. And then the Niners came out and looked flat. Defense looked bad. But so you got Fred Warner is going to be motivating that defense. They're all ready to play their best game. Charvarius Ward has already basically come out and said, my bad, feel like the game's on me. I was thinking I was going to return that for a touchdown. I wasn't even thinking about just knocking it down or making the catch. So, Charvarius is going to have a great game. He's going to be locked up with Jamar Chase. And then Nick Bosa has come out and just straight up said he hasn't played his best game. He said there's been at least 2 games where he's came out of the game and felt like, damn, I did not put out a great performance there. I was in my head too much. He alluded to not being there during preseason. He's trying to add stuff to his rush plan. And so he said he's a little bit in his head during the game, which is not what he wants to be. He wants to be not thinking, and it's all automatic at this point of the year. All that to say, I think the defense is going to come out and they have a ton to prove. And I think Kyle, he won't ever admit it, but he fucking loves these moments where he gets to Kyle gets to flex. He's going up against a tough defense. I think people are going to start counting the Niners out. And he's like, everyone that clowns Sam Darnold, he's like, no. He is going to have an awesome offensive game plan, and he's going to put Darnold in a position where Darnold is not going to turn the ball over. Darnold's not going to lose them this game. I think this is a super low scoring game. If you want to bet this game, bet the under right now. I think it's 43.5. So they're expecting a 24-21 type of game. I think it's going to be, the Niners are just going to want to chew clock. They're going to play great defense. They're not going to be launching the ball down the field. Maybe Shanahan has 1 or 2 Shanahan flexes that he just pulls out because he really feels like they need this win. I guess that's possible. But for the most part, they're just going to be trying to control the ball, get back to the 49ers, their normal game plan, which is control the ball, and just slowly lean on the other team, be physical on offense, deliver hits on offense, and then just go crazy after Joe Burrow. So I think that the Niners will be feeling great going into the bye if they can win this game. I bet Trent Williams doesn't play. Debo's not going to come back before the bye. Brock Purdy's going to be out. McCaffrey is freaking pissed. Anybody who saw that press conference, he was seething. He was so pissed at himself, and he blamed himself for that game. And the guy had 2 touchdowns. But he's pissed. There even was there was a Twitter video like right after the game. Some rando on the Vikings was trying to jersey swap with him. By all accounts, McCaffrey, super nice guy. No, he was seething. He was just like, I'm not doing this. It's just one of those things. He was so pissed off after the game. So I think everybody's in for a big day. I think this is going to be a statement win for the Niners. I think if you want to gamble on this game, I like the under, but just wait until Brock is announced out. The line will drop to 3, if not 2.5, with maybe some juice on the 2.5, but it'll drop. And if that's the case, I say hammer the Niners. I think the Niners win this. I think that the Bengals had the advantage, the motivation advantage, but now I think it's in the Niners' favor. So that's the positive spin. Now I'll get back to the game, but I do want to bring up what Graves said. He said, I understand the QB sneak, but you got CMC and Mason that are bruisers. Okay, this is something that is not going to be done until the offseason, but everybody's watching the tush push. I hate to say it, but the Eagles are so uniquely good at that play, and everybody else is trying to do it, and they're botching it, and they should not ban this play. And if they do ban it, it's going to be because other teams like the Giants are injuring themselves trying to replicate it. So I'm just putting this out there in the universe. If they don't ban this play, I refuse to believe that Jalen Hurts is the best rugby player in the world. Now, I understand he squats 1,500 pounds or whatever. But what I'm saying is, in the offseason, go get you 2 or 3 rugby players. I'm dead ass serious, because the Eagles are at such an advantage. They play 1st and 9 to start every game. And Cowherd had a good point. And I honestly believe if fatigue wasn't a factor, he probably is right, that they could probably go all the way down the field and score a touchdown on an entire drive running that play. It would take too much out of them, but like they could do it. I really think they could, because they're getting like 3-4 yards on some of these plays. And it is just devastating to the defense. The defense is so exhausted. So I'm saying get 2 or 3 rugby players, get one, teach them how to snap a football. The guy will be better than Jason Kelce, because that's what rugby players do. Even though Jason Kelce in the NFL is uniquely qualified to do this play. Get a rugby player, have him under center, have him as the center. Then in the place of the quarterback, you take Brock Purdy out, or whatever quarterback in the league, you take him out. You don't risk getting him injured. Just take him out for this play. Put in another rugby player who, I just have to believe will be even better than Jalen Hurts at this play. And then even if you wanted to, maybe a third to just grab onto the guy's flak jacket and be the guy who pushes him. But like it's getting to a point where it is actually worth it to have those like 2 or 3 rugby players on your roster if you could make this play work. And I believe that is possible. And that it's a copycat league, and it's not working to copy this play. And teams are going to have to start thinking a little bit outside the box. And if you could get that to work, if you could have 1st and 9, if Kyle Shanahan could have 1st and 9, and every time he's in the goal, every time he's goal to go, he basically has a guaranteed touchdown. It's absolutely worth it for those roster spots. Teach them how to play, teach 1 or 2 of them how to play special teams and call it a day. And I'm being dead serious about that. Okay, Mark Graves says Bengals defense against the rush is 9th worst. Heavy run game plan. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a heavy run game plan. 100%. They're going to be just trying to control the game the whole time. Graves says you're going to carry two or three players for a 1-yard play. Yes, absolutely. You see what the Eagles are able to do. They're going for it on their own 25, like their own 34. And it's just guaranteed, and it's demoralizing. And the realistic thing is they're not getting just 1 yard on these plays. They're getting 2, 3, sometimes 4 yards on this play. So if every time, you basically get an extra down. That's 100% worth it. You have an extra down. If you carry 2 or 3 players and you have an extra down, I think you do it. I absolutely think you do it. Oh, we got my boy Andrew D. Let me know if Andrew can you hear me? Yo. Oh no. Well, this is my great buddy Andrew. Huge 49ers fan, a little bit technologically challenged. I think you got to go into edit mic settings, maybe. Sorry. Or do you have AirPods in? Here, I'm gonna. Yeah, I can't hear you. Here, why don't you try rejoining? All right, that's Andrew. If you can hear me, yeah, okay. He's gonna try rejoining, but so those are a majority of my thoughts. Let's see. Went over Bosa. Oh, here's the other thing. If you disagree with me and you think that Sam Darnold's gonna shit the bed and that the Niners are gonna go into their bye with 3 losses, bet the Seahawks right now. They're still 4-1. I talked about it with Andrew Cassidy last Thursday. What the Seahawks? Oh no. I talked about it on last Thursday. I like the Seahawks. The Seahawks have a chance to win the division. Their schedule's not that hard, and if you look at their games, they lost to the Rams in the first game of the week, or the first week of the season. That's the best the Rams are going to look all year because they are so banged up and so thin. And also just the kind of surprise factor of Nakua and all this new stuff that McVay implemented. Also, the Rams just kind of generally have ownage on the Seahawks, but they beat the Detroit Lions. They've taken care of business in pretty much every game. They should have beat this Bengals team. And the biggest thing is their defense is starting to look good. Now they have Frank Clark. So if you think that the Niners are going to drop this one this week, I think that the Seahawks are going to cruise past the Browns. The Brownies are still beat up from that Niner game. There's issues inside that locker room. No one knows what the hell's going on with Deshaun Watson. The latest is that he's out for rest. What is this? The NBA? He's out because he's resting. So you got PJ Walker, Texas Ranger. As much as he's spunky and fun, this Seahawks team's coming off a bad loss to the Bengals, a game they should have won, a game that they outgained them. Wait. Were they coming off? No. They got Seahawks won this week. Sorry, I'm blanking. Oh, they beat the Cardinals. Andrew, there we go.
I am in. How are we doing?
Let's go. Dude, so I was just kind of going over, I don't know how you feel about the Darnold experience. I've fully talked myself into this is a great spot for the Niners because now it's kind of a nobody believes in us spot. Shanahan's going to want to put his balls on the table and he's going to come up with the best game plan possible for Darnold. And the defense, Steve Wilkes has been on the hot seat answering all these shitty questions. Shanahan throwing him under the bus. Fred Warner came out and said this is a must win.
Mm-hmm.
Purdy's out. He said it's a must win. They need to win the grimy ones. Nick Bosa said he hasn't played well. It just seems like the D's going to come out firing.
I mean, loaded right there. I agree with all those statements. Also, I don't know if maybe it's a blessing or a curse, but I was a big Sam Darnold guy coming out of the draft. Can I say I was right? I don't know if I can say that I was right, but I also have been still preaching and supporting Sam Darnold for years. And what do you know? On my squad now, and I couldn't be happier. I had Saints fans telling me that they had a better quarterback locker room than us. Well, guess what? Purdy ain't playing next week. No problem. Put Sammy D in there and let him dice. Let him eat. I think we have a guaranteed win next week. The big reason we lost last week, I put two bills down on a bet when we were down 9, not remembering that Trent Williams was not playing. I think that's probably the biggest thing we need to look out for. No Trent Williams, and Sammy D may not be the best, most productive setting, but I'd love to see him go out there and put some good work in. I still think it's Brock Purdy's position, and I love to see the internet hate and how he'll respond when he's healthy.
Oh, I know, dude. Don't you kind of love, like, there was like a lot of people that they slowly climbed their way back onto the Brock Purdy like experience, and then they're like, "Hey guys, like I've been here the whole time. I'm also pro Brock Purdy." And then the second he starts showing any cracks, they're like, "Oh, Brock Purdy, here it is. I knew it was coming." And I'm part of me is a little, I guess it's kind of messed up, but like I'm kind of glad that at least that those 2 picks came after the concussion. 2 for 6 with 2 picks after the concussion.
I was going to say, it's the only reasonable answer. That's not Brock Purdy.
Yeah.
He does not throw interceptions down the middle of the field. It's not his game. He must have been concussed. He's back now. I appreciate the internet's reaction to him because, if he can't respond to some of the content I'm seeing running around, then that's not my quarterback. And I don't think that's him. So
hell yeah. I absolutely agree. I know it does suck. I kind of thought that maybe he'd be in for an awesome game, but now it just sets up for like, look, if they can get this dub, go into the bye, then the next time we see Brock Purdy, he'll be healthy. He'll probably have Deebo Samuel. He'll have Trent Williams. The boys will be rested.
My question is this: like, do you think that there was a mindset around our management room with our O line where Trent Williams counts as 2 O linemen, and that was our whole build out? Like we have to pay money for other positions, so we're gonna treat the risk of Trent not getting injured. When he does get injured, the value is when he's there, that's 2 people. When he's not there, that's a loss of 2 people.
It does.
What are we doing? What was happening last game? The O-line was just not winning. And then we could get no pressure on defense. And I feel like it's because we were just losing in the trenches.
Yeah. It's kind of like a lame cop-out. And like, especially because like, I like to think of the Niners as like the toughest team in the league. And like everybody else is some bitches because we're so tough on offense and defense. But like, there's those crazy stats, like the team following the week versus the Niners. Like last year, I think it was like, the teams were like 15 or 1-15, like the next week, and against the spread was terrible. Similar trends been going on this year. I think that Browns game, just like both teams, like just got the hell beat out of them. I mean, that was just a slugfest. And then all of a sudden this Browns defense that I do believe is like insanely good, let up 38 points to the Gardner Minshew Colts. And then the Niners go and just completely lay an egg.
Oh, lots of comments there. You look at the Browns game. I don't feel bad about that loss. It's, we missed the field goal, but there was definitely controversial calls ahead of that, right? But it's not like the Chiefs where the Browns aren't getting calls from refs every week. It's the Browns, and I love to see their fans happy. They got a big win. But Kirk Cousins going God mode in primetime, that was not fun to watch.
Dude, so that was his first. So I saw like, okay, that was his 3rd Monday Night Football win. And I was like, oh, I don't really, but the other 2 were versus the Bears. So that's not great. But dude, that was the most God mode. Like, I'm going to be annoyed, like, because there already were murmurs like, oh, we should trade Brock for Kirk Cousins, bring in Kirk Cousins. It's like, if you watch football, like that was the best Kirk Cousins has ever looked in his entire life.
Okay, I don't know. I'm like kind of like Sam Darnold. I've been a Kirk Cousins guy for a while, but but not now. I think like 4 years ago when we had the opportunity, then we could have done Kirk Cousins. But yeah, now Brock Purdy all day.
Because also it's like Kirk Cousins like is gonna get like whatever 50 million a year. Like
Brock Purdy's the GOAT. We're gonna win the Super Bowl. Brock Purdy's gonna get MVP of the Super Bowl. We're gonna. It just is what call me Nostradamus. I mean,
dude. Also, like Sam Darnold, like if he looks good, then that's good. That just means that like it's like they have a chance to win with him. Also, all of a sudden his trade value starts to really plummet up.
I say we put some Sam Darnold on some bootlegs, get him out there on the field. He's fast. He's big.
Dude, he's so fast. That's like was like his most successful things like the past couple of years was like in like all of a sudden he was a fantasy football option just because like he was like what the hell, Sam Darnold running for 50 yards a game.
Well, he also has NFL experience. I mean, there's no denying the guy's gone to a couple locker rooms and won the job.
True.
Like you don't just go to the NFL and win starting quarterback position and then you suck. He wasn't on the Niners. Now he's on the Niners with Shanahan in a squad.
Dude, I know. I'm totally drinking the Kool-Aid. I will be slightly conflicted if he does like super well because then like those internet assholes that are like anti Brock Purdy are like, see, anyone can do well in the system. But you know what? I got to just block him out. That's what Brock would do.
Yeah, we got Shanahan. No way. And John Lynch. They're not going to let the internet decide what they want to do. Brock Purdy's our guy. I think the roasts are funny, if anything. Like, because I wish that Brock Purdy would call in right now so I could roast him too. Because it's unacceptable, Brock. Be better.
Oh, dude, I know. It did feel like that live bet was just too easy. It was just winking at you. Like, oh, of course the Niners are going to come back. And it was totally going to happen if that touchdown at the end of the half didn't happen. So it was like all of a sudden the Niners finally got control of the game. They're down 3, I think. Yeah, I think they were down 3. And it was like going to be going down 3, going into the half. Then they were going to get the ball first. Shanahan was going to do his scripted play magic. They were going to run down and then all of a sudden the game was going to be blown open. I think that's what would have happened. But
I feel like, yeah, well, Ward too. Like, I mean, he had the play that people won't remember is he didn't get called on a pass interference, and then
true.
And Cousins threw a perfect dime. Like when it got thrown, I was like, "Oh, it's uncatchable ball. It must be out of bounds." And then you see it hits the hash, and I'm like, "We got away with one on that."
Dude, I know. And like the funny thing is, like that might have been Cousins' worst throw of the night was on that touchdown. It's like the one time it was like a little bit in front of Addison, and Mooney came out and said like, I just was not thinking about like bringing the ball in. Like my mind was immediately like to the return. Like I'm returning this for a touchdown, and like you appreciate it, but like, dog.
I don't know what was going on. Also, we got like a pretty injured Dre.
Dude, pretty injured. How about when his like hand started like twitching? Like it was like, and yeah.
Did you see that the Bills were looking for linebackers? There's rumors that they called in to the Niners.
I know. Yeah, I hope they just said fuck you.
Oh yeah, they will. 100%.
Oh, so you know what? I've got some questions. Like, what would you? So the trade deadline is coming up. Like, what do you have any positions that you'd like the Niners to go out and get? Like, even just for depth.
We really just need depth at really O-line, and I think it would be sick if we got another linebacker because we're a different team when Dre's not on the field or Fred's not on the field.
Yeah.
Like if we could have another solid, just like doesn't need to be a Dre or a Fred, but someone that we could trust to come in there, like Holcomb's great though.
I miss you, Aziz.
I know it, right? Right. That's exactly it.
But yeah, somebody threw out like, I wonder what it would take to get Quan Alexander back, but I think he might be injured.
Why do people hate on Quan all the time? I love the way he plays football. Like,
so good. It's just injuries, like it's the only thing. Like, but if he was like the third guy and then he only played a little bit, then he probably wouldn't get injured. But yeah, I'm with you on the linebackers. I also would like to. They don't have to go out and get Pat Surtain, but maybe one more corner because it gets a little scary if Ward goes down for any time.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, who are our backups right now? Who is backup to Lenore? And Ward's not really like meant. He's kind of moving around. He's usually a nickel.
49ers cornerback depth chart. Gotta consult. I don't know, like Sammy Womack. Where's the depth chart? Okay, it is. Okay. Ambry Thomas. Anthony Brown. I don't really know anything about him. Also, Isaiah Oliver has just been pretty poopy. Like, I think he's like the highest percentage of target or like catches like when targeted.
Our defense is so nasty. I'm looking at our depth chart right now, and it's just
dude.
The starting squad is so good.
So are you like concerned at all with Wilkes? No.
What are your concerns?
It's just this is like definitely stupid fan brain thinking, but like I think just like when Saleh was on the sideline and he was just such a madman, and then like D'Amico is just like a smarter Saleh, and like he's like I felt like he was like in the mind of the players, and like he would just get all fired up and he would like rip into guys, and then Steve Wilkes is just like up in like the sky booth, like just kind of like selecting the stuff. I don't know. It just worried me because like the defense was so flat last week.
Yeah, they were. I don't know what. I guess that brings up a point, but I thought it was just due to injury. I thought that's what was going on. I thought we just had a pretty injured Dre out there, and we had a couple people that were limping out there. Bosa was not obviously moving very fast. They were also on the field quite a bit.
That's the key, I think. They were on the field for a long time in the Browns game and then a long time in this game.
I just think back to how bad it could be. Like, remember when we had Mangini and it was like,
oh, I know.
Like, wait, when are we gonna be? When are we gonna blitz? Just randomly. There's just no rhyme or reason.
Dude. I got to bring this up also, like, because we always talk about this. Like, we always talk about like how the spoiled 49ers fans.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, like our fan base can be so spoiled. Like it's the talk of like all these trades. And I said this on Sunday in the post game, like when everyone's talking about like, oh, we need to go get Chase Young. We need to go. And it's like the 49ers are like objectively either the number one or number two most talented team in the league. Like everyone wants them to be like the KD Warriors. Like, let's just add enough goats that like literally you can't stop it. But it's like, things were so bad. Just be happy with this awesome team.
Our fan base rides with us, but they don't die with us, And I don't know what the mentality is. It's like maybe it's just Levi's. I think Levi's being created as the big shift. We got a lot of corporate out there. They moved it out of the city. I don't like to see it. I got to say, Brock Purdy. I would love to see Niner fans, get more together and support our guy. Because frankly, we're not going to win if Brock Purdy's not our starting quarterback. That is our guy. He's great. Other people could talk trash. It's funny, but Niner fans need to be more supportive. Like we can't just be pushing people out. And the answer isn't always go pick up some new player. Go pick up some new player that's not a part of the clubhouse right now, that doesn't know the culture, doesn't know the playbook, any of that. Oh, that's going to be the answer. We don't even know how they'll perform together. We have the squad right now. This is the team that wins the Super Bowl.
This is the team with Brock on the rookie contract. Will B says, glad we have Darnold as a backup for something like this. It is true. Like, thank God. I mean, as far as like you look around the league, like we could have T-Bag, Tyler Badgett, who actually look kind of spunky and fun, but we could have Brian Hoyer. We could have Sam Darnold. At least like he's like young, like he elicits like some promise. And
it's just funny because I'm telling you, I can tell you how many people were telling me that the Saints had a better quarterback room than the 49ers. Like, and that was the beginning of the season. No one's saying that anymore. But people thought that. Derek Carr and
Winston and Jameis.
Jameis. I mean, come on. On paper, sure, we got that. We got those tough, hard-nosed quarterbacks that just want to go out there and ball. They don't have the name. Sam Darnold doesn't have the name, but he's got the chip.
Dude, Derek Carr is like there's not a more uninspiring quarterback Dude, our buddy D-Rob, like he's a Saints fan. What is he saying about it? Because it's weird. The Saints are like, it's almost like they just froze time like after Sean Payton left. And they're like, well, we'll promote Dennis Allen. Like he's a Sean Payton guy. And like, we're going to keep doing fun stuff with Taysom Hill. But it's just like, it's just been like a steady decline. They're going to have like I think they're going to be the most over the cap team in the league next year. Like, what the hell are they doing? And Derek Carr, check down.
First of all, I grew up in Bakersfield. The cars are a thing. By the way, I'll note that we also have love now for the Packers. So just everybody, shout out Bakersfield, California. But I've been saying it from the beginning. I don't see Derek Carr. A big part of being a quarterback in the NFL is you have the most alpha humans that you are now basically CEO of on the field. Are they going to respect you and listen to you? I watched Hard Knocks and I was confused about who this man is.
Dude, I know. Like that, I would get into arguments with like Raiders fans friends, like him versus Jimmy G, and I would just be like, the thing is, like, I can't prove it with stats, but like everyone in the locker room is like Jimmy G's a fucking dog, and Carr, crying a little bit, whining at Olave. Mark Graves says, how about the players we have do their job? But if you can improve and not give up a lot, then okay. I mean, I think, facts. The boys need to show out. Versus the Bengals.
I think we could go with a little more aggressive play call on offense too. Like we have all these weapons. And I don't know, last game was tough because we didn't have Trent. And like our whole play is that we just take control of that run. You know what I mean? And we can get out and grab the edges a little better when we have him. But like, we had to have a backup plan for Trent's not there. Like
I totally didn't answer your question when you were like bringing up Trent. Is the game plan just that Trent is two guys? It is true because like, if you watch any of these like Sunday Night Football, Thursday Night Football, Monday Night Football, when they're talking about the Niners, when the Niners are in the game, they talk about this fantastic 49ers offensive line. But the funny thing is, it's like, it's just like the only guy you can really point to that's just a stud is Trent. And like Trent is incredible, but it's like everybody else, like Aaron Banks is really good. No one really knows what to think about Brendel as the center. But Shanahan, for the most part, like they've done well with patchwork offensive lines. Like the year they went to the Super Bowl, I think they were on their third center, and Joe Staley missed a bunch of time. But you could feel it in this past game where like it seemed like the way to attack the Vikings was through the air, and just there was no pocket really for Purdy. Like it was the most like Purdy scrambling and getting out of there that we've really seen. By the way, how about
the Niners stole it from the Seahawks? Yeah, I mean the Niners just stole. Everybody's taking it from the Seahawks textbook from back to the Legion of Doom. It's you just put a bunch of pressure on the quarterback, he gets discombobulated. If he doesn't have enough time to throw it, like and make it. First of all, he's confused. He's got people on his face. Second of all, there's just no time to let the play develop. And they had pressure so often that game on us, which was confusing. Like, how is there this much pressure at all times? Yeah. And then what's with us getting no pressure? Like Kirk had all the time in the world, but it just, that's how you lose football. I don't know.
It's hard to really think like during the Shanahan run when they've been good. Like I can't really remember a game where they just got no pressure. Like just literally zero.
I don't know, but I remember the tough times when we weren't good at all. So I love to see us in action, baby, every weekend having a shot.
Hey, shout out Mitchell and Ness said, good luck with the channel, Ryan. Thank you. Will B says secondary needs to get their ass together. I see. I kind of almost don't blame the secondary just because, like, what have we seen in the Shanahan? Like, they've never had like an outstanding secondary, but it's okay because they're getting pressure. And so, but like when they're not getting pressure, like, of course the secondary is going to get exposed. But Mark Rave says that swing pass to CMC worked good and they didn't go back to it. I agree with that. You didn't really see much like with no Debo, like you didn't see just like the classic Shanahan screens and stuff.
I absolutely agree. Why didn't we, are the other running backs injured? All of them?
Yeah, yeah.
Seems like we have some capable people that we could have mixed in a little bit. I don't know what we were doing.
Yeah,
Yeah, goes
how do
back
you
to
feel about
Shanahan play call.
how do you feel about like the touch distribution? Because like, I mean, McCaffrey, I will say, I was saying this before you jumped on, like, dude, he was so fucking pissed at himself for fumbling. He was seething in the post-game presser. Like, you don't see him like angry like that. He's usually pretty nice guy. And
Right.
he was just like he was so pissed at himself. And like he said, like, oh, I like lost this the game, which you want, I mean, you want to hear, like, that's awesome. But like, yeah,
Well,
maybe a little bit of Mitchell, a dusting of Jordan Mason.
oh, when Mitchell's fully healthy, and like that's the question. Are you kidding me? We have the most dangerous backfield, and we should be definitely splitting the rock. I mean, in many ways, like obviously CMC's a playmaker, but Mitchell, let's not forget what he's capable of. I mean, he's a top 5 running back in the league when he's healthy. He's so fast. His second move that he gets when he's downhill and the second move that he makes, like just pull up his stats from last year. I don't know him off my head, but he had a couple of 100-yard rushing games where it's like he's the second back.
Yeah, he's absolutely a stud, and he's like the kind of guy that can like if he can get through the line, like he can break off a 70-yard touchdown.
Well, Shanahan said it too at the top of the year that like he knows that we need to do a better job of splitting the rock. I mean, that was a whole thing, but that was before the injury. I just was surprised at how good Jordan Mason looked too.
Dude.
Like that was nuts. So I'm like, why don't we just, if Mitchell's not healthy, just plug him in and keep the playbook consistent? Like, let's continue.
I know the only thing I've seen that like could explain the like lack of Mason is like somebody said maybe he's not like the best in pass protection, but like still just rotate the man in there. Like he's like a little Marshawn Lynch, bro. Like
that was wild. When he came in, just got that like 15-yard touchdown.
Yeah. And the Browns don't let those up. Like, yeah. So I think they should get more. And you know what? It's like they should have said it on the broadcast. Like if Christian McCaffrey wasn't a running back, like he would be like a Pro Bowl, like slot receiver. Like when you don't have Debo and all you've got is like Ayuk and then like Jennings for like the first down sticks throws. Like, why not just go 2 back and just like have McCaffrey as a receiver?
And we have tight ends that are capable of blocking as well. And we have juice. Not my job to figure out how to use all these great players, but to whoever mentioned a moment ago, maybe we need to have our team planned to their full abilities. Well, they can if they're not getting the opportunity. I agree, but we got to have a good play call.
Mitchell Ness said Moore is better at left tackle than right tackle. Left tackle was his natural position in college. Wasn't he? He was a left tackle. He replaced Trent this past weekend. I mean, he didn't let up. Like the good news, they didn't let up. Maybe one sack, that one that like Purdy kind of turned into. But other than that, I mean, it's just that they were like letting the pocket. There was no pocket.
Yeah, I feel like it was collapsing pretty often. Like it looked like a systemic issue.
Yeah. Especially when the other side you saw like Kirk, like he's just got forever. Melvin McGee says, "Bang bang Niner gang." Hell yeah.
Hell yeah, always.
Will B said, "How are we doing on cap? If we swing and miss on the Super Bowl window, do we end up like the post Harbaugh years again?" Don't you say that.
Oh, dude, like the pre-post Harbaugh years where all the Niner fans pushed Harbaugh out.
Oh God. I think they're fine on cap because they have a quarterback that's making $800,000. Like
we'll have to pay him soon. Well, it's coming up on his 3rd year, right? So then they'll negotiate with them and they'll give him like an extension and he'll have some kind of performance bonus. So
yeah. They're fine. They're fine. Mitchell Ness says it's a crime not to use Mason.
It's a crime.
It's a crime.
I agree.
Dude,
all right, Ryan. Thank you for having me on, brother. I have some things to attend to, but I wanted to call in and just say hello and talk about some Niner football. I love your show. I think this is great. I love watching it every week. So good luck with everything.
Dude, we should maybe we should do a little Niner because I'm digging it. I love your takes. We're very simpatico.
Oh, I'll bring
So
my West Coast bias all day,
yeah,
baby.
baby. All right,
All
Andrew.
day.
Dude, thank
Love
you.
you, man.
Love you. All right, the great Andrew Doring. Oh, great guy. Great guy. Mitchell Ness just was saying they tried using more right tackle in the past and he was terrible. Go figure, he looks okay in his natural position. Yeah, I mean that's true. That's true. I mean, the good news is he didn't give up any sacks, and you can't really put like the crushing of the pocket on Jalen Moore. Can't do it. All right, let me see what else did I jot down as far as notes. Shanahan time to flex spot. Kyle, Hendrickson, Darnold good in the pitch. Well, you know what? Let me put this one out to the chat. Do you guys kind of feel like this is a must-win game? Which is what Fred Warner said. Obviously, we all know it's not a must-win. Like literally, but it would just feel a whole lot nicer going 6-2 into the bye. And if the defense could put up a good performance, Darnold looks good. You can get Purdy healthy. I don't know. Did the line go down today? Yes, it did. So the look ahead line, if you looked before Monday night, so Sunday night, I was looking at the lines with Andrew Cassidy, another Andrew, and it was Niners -7. Wait, no, it wasn't. It was Niners. I think. Oh, it was Niners -6. I want to say. Yeah, Niners -6. Then it went down to 5.5 after the Monday night game. Now it's all the way down to 3.5. Which honestly, now that I say that, it's down to 3.5, but it will go to 3. Like you have to get, if you want to bet Bengals plus 3.5, it's like -120. So it's going towards 3. I think when Purdy is officially announced out, which by the way, I haven't really talked about that, but Purdy will not play this game. I'm just letting you guys know that right now. Being a late edition on Wednesday, concussion protocol this year, how difficult it is, no chance. And before the bye, you just don't risk it. You absolutely don't risk it, especially when you have Darnold. You just don't do it. So he's going to be out. So when they announce it, the line will drop to, it'll be like 2.75. So I think that you're going to find some threes some places, maybe -3 plus 100. And then you'll find some -2.5s, -120. So if you want to get at this Niner game, I don't know. Maybe, yeah, wait till Purdy goes down. That said, I also wanted to give out, I think, because I'm confident in the Niners this week. This is, I called this parlay the bounce back boys parlay. Okay, it starts Thursday night football. Money line, Bills. They're not losing that game. 8.5 is a lot. It really is a lot, even at home. And the Bills haven't looked that great, but they're going to win that game. There's just no possible way they drop to 4-4. They're going to win that game. Big favorites do really well on Thursday Night Football. So you throw the Bills bouncing back off a bad Patriots loss, money line. Then you go to, who was the other one? Not the Rams. Oh, and then the other one is Monday Night Football. Oh, this is a great parlay because then you have a stake in Thursday night and Monday night. Monday night, Detroit Lions -8. I don't think Jimmy's going to play. The line's indicating Jimmy won't play. So we're going to see another week of Brian Hoyer, maybe that other mustachioed backup who hasn't looked that good. I mean, I'm just really high on the Lions, and this is a Lions bounce back spot. It was just a bad matchup versus the Ravens. Yeah. So anyway, Lions money line, Bills money line. Then the Niners, you're going to be able to get at like -170, -180. That parlay pays out at 3-1. The bounce back boys parlay. All right. Putting the Bengals to rest would quiet the critics a bit and give our team a boost. I agree. You know, the only thing that sucks is their stupid ass division. Like in terms of their motivation for this game coming out of a bye, their whole division, like these stupid ass teams that are all like 5-2. Well, the Ravens, you know, they're good. They're officially good. Obviously, they're kind of the toast of the town. Lamar played super well, but then it's like, so you've got the Ravens with a great record, The stupid ass Brownies with the past 2 weeks of some questionable calls. They should not have won that Colts game. The Colts completely outplayed them, but they won. Niner game, field goal away from losing, bad calls away from losing. But somehow the Browns are 5-2. So the Ravens are at the top of the division. The Browns are 5-2. Then the stupid zombie ass Steelers are now 5-2. Somehow I don't understand it. But so all that to say, the Bengals just have a lot of ground to make up. They're 5-1 to win that division. They need to start stacking wins badly. And it kind of starts versus the Niners, but I still think motivational edge Niners. Things will get interesting if we lose this weekend. Bengal stock is rising. I can see John York showing up if they lose. Yeah, I agree. I don't trust the Bills. I would feel very nervous betting on them. Not it. You got to just, it's a lock. It's a lock. They're going to win. Browns are 100% luck the past 2 games, LMFAO. I totally agree. I gave out Sunday night my best bet looking at the board for the week, and I predicted the line would go get it now while you can, was Seahawks -3 at home. They've got trouble internally. I mean, yes, they're 5-2, but they're also banged up as hell. They basically had to have Myles Garrett, literally one of the most sensational games we've ever seen. We had to have that for them to beat the Colts, scoring 39 points, 39-38, crazy. So I think they're still beat up. Then that is a lot of travel to go. Niners game, get the hell beat out of them. Go to the Colts, basically lose, but they ended up pulling it out. Now they got to fly all the way to Seattle. Seattle, all of a sudden, they see, look, there's an opening in this division. They have 2 losses. Niners have 2 losses. And the Seahawks have been good. They had a good win last week. They should have beat the Bengals. I just think the Seahawks team is super underrated, and I see them cruising. I just don't think that the Browns are going to be able to keep up scoring-wise, and I don't think the Browns D is going to look Browns D-ish versus the Seahawks, and the Seahawks D is only getting better. So I think this is where the joyride ends for PJ Walker, Texas Ranger. Let's see. Yeah, but this is probably the game of the, yeah, I think it's the most entertaining, even from a national level. I think it's the game to watch this weekend is 49ers, Bengals, Darnold. It's just a lot of fun storylines. And, it sucks because I do like Joe Burrow. Who are the Browns? Who are the Seahawks? Who are the Rams? Who are the Cowgirls? Who are they? Can you tell me, my friend? The Browns are a good team. And if they had acceptable average quarterback play, they could win the Super Bowl. They're that good of a defense, and they're that talented. But I don't see it happening this year. Watson is out for rest. It's just not happening for them. The division's too loaded. The Seahawks are a straight up good team. Straight up good. I'm trying to think where I would put them in the NFC. I don't know, maybe the 4th best NFC team. The Niners are still sizably better. Like if you played a neutral game, if you had the Super Bowl on a neutral field, Seahawks, Niners, I think the Niners would be favored by 5.5 with a healthy Purdy. But still, I mean, it's the NFL, and I could totally see the Niners dropping one of those stupid Seahawks games. It's divisional football, and like we saw last week, it's just anything can happen. Rick said, "Let's take it a week at one time. Let's not get ahead. Putting the team just going to win it all. That's no good to do that. Let us wait and be patient. We don't know who's gonna." Yeah. I mean, that's usually my strategy. I mean, the good news is if you want to bet on the Niners, if they lose this week, all of a sudden you can start getting some decent value. We've seen them do this the past 2 years. They start slow. They were 3-4 last year. Year before that, 3-5 to start. That was the year I got them at 100-1 to win the Super Bowl. Ended up losing that brutal Rams game, but I mean, The Niners are going to be there at the end of this thing. The NFC is just not that difficult this year. I think the Lions have a good chance at the 1 seed just based solely on their schedule. It is just a cakewalk compared to especially the Eagles. The Eagles have a super difficult stretch coming up. But compared to like the Niners, Seahawks, I could see the Lions going on a run. Seattle's D's for real, says Mitchell and Ness. Yes, it is real. And like you kind of have to throw out like the first couple weeks, of the season, they're data points, they're indicators, but it's kind of like you saw Kansas City's offense. Like the first 4 weeks of the season now are basically preseason. You can't really get these teams are trying to figure out an identity. And now Seattle has those good rookie corners, adding Frank Clark. I mean, they're a good team. I just, the Niners are just absolutely loaded. Super Bowl, I don't know about that. Well, I mean, I think the two teams there's 3 teams I think that could make it out of the NFC this year, and that is the Eagles or the Niners. Doesn't matter about seeding. And then I think if the Lions get the 1 seed, they could go to the Super Bowl, absolutely, because the Niners, first of all, they'd get the bye. They'd get to play in Detroit versus the 4 seed or whoever the winner of that matchup. And then the Niners and Eagles would most likely have to play each other, so you get one of those guys knocked out. Then you have the home game, NFC Championship. Anything could happen. So yeah. Seattle's D looks good, real good, Will B said. Mitchell Ness says, I hope the 49ers get Surtain or Horn. They just need that young first-round lockdown talent. I know. It's like it's one of those things where it's like this 49ers defense has been so good, but we haven't seen them with just an all-time stud cornerback. We had Richard Sherman at the end of his career. He was fine. He was good, but he was also like a little banged up, a little old. Mooney Ward is, I think, a number one. When you look at the scope of the league, he is a number 1 corner, but I don't trust that groin to hold up all season. And if he goes out, it's scary hours unless the D-line can, really step it up and just become animals like they have been the past couple of years. But yeah, I've been trying to think more and more about like what they need in a trade. Now, I guess there is a little bit of like an NBA-ification of the NFL where in the past you never had these blockbuster trades. You just didn't. But now all of a sudden huge names are getting moved. Can't lie, Baller put it into my head, that idea. Bay Area Baller. Go shoot him a follow or subscribe. Just the idea of the Niners getting Derrick Henry. It's absolutely silly and it's ridiculous and unnecessary. But at the same time, it would be kind of fun. That would be an NBA move. And it would suck if the Eagles, who are super aggressive clearly at the deadline, if they could like bring in Derrick Henry, I don't like that. But yeah, I also a Niners, a wide receiver, maybe just one more guy. Like I'm just thinking about 2019 when they got Emmanuel Sanders, how big of an improvement that was for the team. I just don't really know who that veteran guy is out there. I mean, maybe Adam Thielen, except for they're still trying to win games. Kyle Mitchell Ness says Kyle wouldn't use Henry if CMC was available to play. That's why I don't like that idea. Yeah. And also like, I think there's this idea like, well, you could get Henry and he's so big and massive. Like you just use him for short yardage. But truthfully, Derrick Henry is not a great short yardage back. It's because he stands up so tall, his running style. And like, you can kind of if you clip him at the knees, like he can kind of buckle, and he's not the most elusive, like straight out of the break. But he's like a guy that, he's actually more of a home run hitter than anything else. So, yeah, I wouldn't really see the need for Derrick Henry. Still, though, it just would be, I don't know. I guess maybe I'm just like, it would be fun to like play Madden with Derrick Henry and Christian McCaffrey and just move Christian McCaffrey out wide. I also just still like, I keep bringing this up. I don't know. I'd like a tight end. I'd like another tight end. I want Kittle because you don't need another receiver if you have Kittle like seriously running a zillion routes like a Kelsey. Like he can do a lot of what Kelsey can do. And if anything, I think he's a better down the field target than Kelsey. But they just need him to be in there to block. Like when you talk about the Niners offensive line being great, really it's Trent Williams and it's Aaron Banks is good. And then it's kind of like a bunch of league average guys, we can't really tell. But they have George Kittle in there blocking, and they have Juice, Juice doing what Juice does. So, all of those things put together, yeah, they get good protection. Obviously, still better at running the ball, but it just would be nice to have it doesn't seem like it would be that hard to just get a stud blocking tight end. We got SG Sports Talk channel. What up, Shardal? I want to join the show. I love all your content. Love you too, Shardal. Hey, I'll throw in the link. I'm probably gonna jump off pretty soon, but Shardal, let's make your debut. I put the invite in the chat. If anybody else wants to join, also totally open to it. Let me go look at the Niners schedule. Also, here's another thing is I didn't think I'd be doing that much Niner stuff. I kind of thought I would zag, and I thought this Niner team was so loaded, and especially once they were 4-0, 5-0, I thought, you know what? I'm just going to do some actual just the general league stuff, go over all the games, because I feel like the market's saturated enough. You don't need to hear my 49ers opinion when you can hear, 25 other guys, all make, and then you at some point you're all just saying the same exact thing. Or it's just meaningless conversations that are just a waste of time. But all of a sudden this 49ers season just got interesting. And there's going to be some dumb ass discourse regardless of how this turns out. If they lose, everyone is going to be panic mode. If Darnold plays well and they win, well, then we have a whole bye week of just bullshitting around, talking about, even if these guys don't believe it, there's going to be a million channels that are, should the 49ers stick with Sam Darnold? Sam Darnold, he's got a better profile. You can't deny he's more talented. All that kind of crap. Chardall in the house. Chardall, what's up, dude? Spencer Stewart says, "What's up, Rye? Saw the news earlier. Not good." It's not good, but again, I'm an optimistic person. It's just me. But I think this could be the best thing that happens for this team. If they're able to win this game, I really believe this is a put up or shut up spot for the defense. Wilkes has been getting his ass chewed out all week. I'm sure Shanahan has been. I mean, Shanahan doesn't really throw guys under the bus. He just straight up pretty much threw Wilkes under the bus for that play today. He alluded to it on Sunday or on Monday after the game, but today he just fully threw him under the bus. Nick Bosa hasn't been coy about, he's been basically saying, he's still kind of in his head in some of these games, partly because of the preseason, but he's still trying to add stuff to his rush package. And because of that, he's not able to play fast. He's in his head a little bit. So Nick Bosa, but also everyone's asking him about the sacks. And I think, and he's just straight up said, yeah, I've had a couple not good games. So I think Bosa is going to be out there firing, leaving it all out on the field, especially with the bye coming up. And then again, I go back to what Fred Warner said. They have to win the grimy ones. He knows they can win 30-10, but they have to figure out a way to win the grimy ones, the difficult ones. And he called this game a must win. So, and then we all know Kyle is Kyle's the kind of guy that he's just going to drop some wild ass plays this week. He's just going to flex on everyone. He's going to have a few just awesome plays for Darnold. And other than that, he's just going to have him control, he's not going to let him make mistakes. They're going to be controlling the pace of the game. They're going to be bleeding the clock. They're going to try and keep the defense off the 49ers defense off the field, because that's been the thing the past 2 weeks, is that they've just been on the field. They haven't been able to play 49er football. And McCaffrey is absolutely so pissed off. The guy was fuming in the press conference. So this is a spot for everyone to show up that basically didn't show up in this past game. I mean, obviously McCaffrey did show up in the last game, but he's still butthurt. Yeah, I mean, because I think Purdy was like the bright spot of that game for the first 3 quarters. And then now we know concussion happened. And then he went 2 for 6 with 2 picks. But still, I mean, I don't really put that game on him. Oh man, that would be a good take cough. Will be. I liked what Warner had to say. He gets it. Warner does get it. And he's going to be having, I was a little bit like, are they missing? I know that on the post game, on Larry's post game, Damon totally shot this idea down. And part of me saying like, oh, maybe this is a fan brain take, but I was a little worried like Saleh and then to an even more to an even further degree, D'Amico. Like those guys are on the sideline. They're fired up. D'Amico felt like he was like almost a player on the field. Like Dre Greenlaw, these guys like still talk about how D'Amico has allowed them to just play fast and free. And like, he's like inside their heads, and he's completely, molded a ton of these guys on the defense, and he knows how to motivate them. And then you have Steve Wilkes up in the booth, I don't know, feels a little disconnected. And then, the Niners team comes out and they're honestly, their defense was kind of soft, and they just didn't seem like they had a ton of energy. And it just, I don't know. Part of me thinks that D'Amico or Saleh would change something about that. That said, Fred Warner is the leader of this defense. And if he's pissed and he's fired up, he's going to get the boys going. He's going to get the boys going. I don't think Nick Bosa needs that. I think Nick Bosa will be ready to play this game. But Fred Warner, man, he's going to get the dogs ready. Oh, and then Mooney. Mooney feels horrible. He was thinking touchdown. He was thinking, I'm going to pick this off, and I'm already thinking about the return touchdown. So, and then he got burned. I mean, I think you leave the corners. If you don't get home and you put the corners in a bad spot on this team, and then they're on the field for 35 minutes of the game, they're going to start to crumble. So I think just all levels of the defense is going to be fired up. Spencer Stewart said, if the Niners win this week, how everyone in the media will try to start a QB controversy. 100%, especially after like the previous 2 weeks. Even though I think Purdy played well last week outside of the late stuff. But yeah, they will. I mean, because it's just a great thing. Like if you're a Niners content creator, and you have any sort of like kind of slightly hidden anti-Purdy stuff, if Brock comes out here, or like Nick Wright or Steven Ruiz, if Sam Darnold comes out there and just absolutely balls, it is just so much confirmation bias that like, oh, you could put anyone in there. Just all that stupid shit. And then if they lose, then you can just shit on the team. Will B says exactly, Spencer. Will B said it already started after that last loss, to be honest. It had. I'm seeing a lot of bull. Spencer Stewart said they couldn't get off the field on third downs in Minnesota. I know, it was just devastating. Absolutely devastating. Nope, they were a sieve. Yeah. Spencer Stewart says, think you mean Nick wrong. He's a clown. I know. I hate how much it's like, I'm still drawn to like a moth to the flame. Like I still enjoy Nick Wright. He gets under my skin. I don't know if he has like something against the Bay Area because of like, LeBron and, we're us taking LeBron's cheeks a few times, and then also like, Mahomes beating the Niners in the Super Bowl. But yeah, he's always been super anti-Niners, and obviously he's anti-Warriors. And with that, we bring on the great Shardal. Shardal.
Hey, what's up, Ren?
What's up,
hey,
my
what's
man?
up, Ren? How you doing? How you doing today?
Oh, I'm doing good, man. I'm just chilling. I had to get some takes off about this Brock thing.
And I'm a big fan of the of your channel, West Coast Bias.
Oh, thank you, Charlotte.
What made you start the YouTube channel? Like, what made you start it?
That's a good question. Well, I knew that I needed to move down to LA at some point. Obviously, I moved back to the Bay Area to do the channel, start the channel up with Larry, and I got to do a lot of cool stuff through that. Got a lot of experience, doing post game shows, after, all the zillion Giants post game shows and the Warriors and the Niners, and then I got to do some cool stuff with the Niners, going in the locker. All that was awesome, but I knew there was a time clock and it was ticking. And my girlfriend was going to graduate from law school and she had a job lined up in LA. So I knew I was going to end up down here in LA. So I couldn't just stay on the Krug show. And as cool, as awesome as the Krug show experience was, I also wasn't the most financially awesome. It's not like I was, I wasn't making enough money from that to basically pay the bills. So I
Hey
knew I was gonna
Ryan,
have to. Yeah.
what were some of your takeaways from the 108 to 104 loss for the Warriors against the Phoenix Suns on opening night?
Okay, my initial takeaway is I love Chris Paul. And the next, I would say with okay, because we did the post game on Larry's show last night. The take that has kind of lingered with me that we didn't really talk about last night that's interesting. I think that it's going to take a little bit of time for Curry to kind of learn how to play with Chris Paul, because Chris Paul, it's a lot of Chris Paul dominating the ball, and I think he does an awesome job with it. And I'm like, would way rather have the ball in his hands than pretty much anybody but Curry. Well, I guess I would rather have Draymond, but Curry seemed like maybe a little uncomfortable with them both out there. But I
Because
don't know. I
because
don't know
when
if
you
yeah.
because Curry and Thompson are mostly the duo that everybody looks at on the Warriors. But when you look at Curry and Paul, Paul is a new he was a new addition to the Warriors family. So it's going to be hard for Curry to get accustomed and get used to playing with Paul and kind of getting like, that friendlyship, bondship kind of teammate kind of feel is not going to be easy for him at first, but I know that if he keeps on playing with Curry, eventually both of those guys will get like accustomed to each other, and they'll like Paul will like Curry and Curry will like Paul, and they'll kind of like go back and forth exchanging, conversation with each other maybe after the game or
Yeah. Oh, I totally agree, Chardol. I think that like it almost felt like at times like Chris Paul, it's like one of those things where it's like you go, no, you go, like you go, no, you go. Like they clearly things are positive, but it was kind of like, Paul's like trying to kind of force it to Curry or to Clay, like, here, you have it, shoot it, guys. Like I'm a team player. And it just felt a little like they're just not fully in sync. They're not like flowing as like one organism, which is like what they like really with this team is like they're banking on being a more talented version of the Miami Heat. They're just hoping that things can come together and the chemistry and everything can be so good and the culture so good that is going to be able to, and everyone is going to be willing to sacrifice, and that is going to win out in the playoffs. And it
so
usually
when do you
does,
think
but
so when do you think Paul and Curry are going to be in sync with each other?
um, I think back to like the year they got KD, and it was like KD, you could see it was a little weird at first. Curry was like trying to be deferential. KD was also trying to be deferential. Um, I think maybe by Christmas they'll be cooking. Like I think it's gonna get steadily better, but I think by Christmas, like Kerr will have the rotations kind of figured out, and I think things will be much better. Mitchell and Ness says, "Do you agree with this, Chardol? I'm not writing off Clay. I'm not writing Clay off yet, like so many are doing. Are you still thinking Clay's gonna have a monster year?
I like Clay. Um, and I don't know if he's gonna have a monster year, but I'm not gonna hash it out right now. He might have a good year. He might not have a good year. He's a really good basketball player.
Yeah, Mitchell Ness says Clay carried this team for like a month last year when Wiggins and Curry were both out. A lot of people don't seem to remember that. Yeah, it's Mitchell Ness. That's just like the curse of like everyone just remembers the Lakers
For
series, and then
for me as a Barrier sports fan who's been rooting on the 49ers, the Giants, the Warriors, and the Sharks, um, looks like they went through a rough patch on the 24th because the Sharks lost 3-1 and the Warriors lost 108 to 104. So it looks like the buried teams weren't looking so great this year. Warriors are not looking so great to open up the season. They're 0-1. But it's just one game. People are saying that it's just one game. Like, you don't have to get upset over one game. I know they have 81 games left in the season. It's an 82 game season.
yeah,
So
and the Suns are good.
don't get flustered at this point because you know that the Warriors will bounce back because they do play up in Sac on the 27th. So I hope they get a win up in Sacramento.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're missing Draymond, but also you could see that Chris Paul was, at least on the offensive side, was able to do a lot of he was able to take over the role that Draymond, because Draymond's like the primary ball handler on offense when he's in there, and then he's looking for Curry, he's not looking for his own shot. Paul was able to simulate that on offense. It's just you're really missing him when it comes to like rebounding, and just like general feel. Mitchell Ness, I'll say this about Clay. Yeah, I'm not going to get too worried about Clay. Okay, where I get worried about Clay is like his decision making sometimes, like him thinking that he can, beat people off the dribble and, shoot stupid uncontested or contested shots. But he's going to settle, things are going to work their way out. He's going to settle into like more of just a straight up spot up dude that is going to pull people from even if he's not shooting well, like they were saying last night, he still is pulling defenders. Defenders are still freaked out about him getting hot because he still can absolutely, take over a game.
Ryan, so what were your thoughts on the Brock Purdy concussion? He's in concussion protocol right now. How do you feel about Sam Darnold stepping in to replace Brock Purdy when they go up against the Cincinnati Bengals? I believe that game is at Levi's.
It's at Levi's. The Niners needed to go home. I feel good about Darnold. Like, this is what I'll say about Darnold. He's the kind of guy. He's not built to be a full-time starter. If he had to play for 5 or 6 games, you'd start to see the cracks, the mistakes, the old habits. But one game thing, I think he'll play well.
Because all Niner fans are saying that Sam Darnold isn't great. Like, all Niner fans have their opinions of why they think Darnold isn't such a great quarterback, or if he's a great quarterback. Like, what are your thoughts? Like, do you have differing opinions? Do you think that he won't be able to lead us to maybe to a Super Bowl?
I don't think that we can. I don't think we're going to be able to win a Super Bowl with Sam Darnold.
But then if Niner fans don't think Darnold is great, why did we sign him? Like, let's just keep, because I want to keep Purdy right now, but he's injured, so we have no choice to play Darnold. Like, that's just he's a backup. So if Purdy gets injured, you have to start Darnold because he's a backup QB to Brock Purdy. Yeah, and then Brandon Allen's a third string quarterback.
Here's the thing, Charles. He's good enough to like stack wins during the regular season. I mean, if you look at like the point spread, like they're saying the difference between Darnold is basically a field goal, the difference between Purdy and Darnold. And that would make them a team like, probably like a little better than the Bengals. Like, they probably would be a little bit better than the Bengals, who some people still think are a contender with Sam Darnold.
Like, if you start Darnold and then, Joe Burrow's also playing on Cincinnati, I don't know how Darnold will compete against Joe Burrow. I don't know if sometimes Joe Burrow has a really great game, and I think Darnold might get like embarrassed because Burrow is a really great QB, and I'm not sure how Darnold's going to compete against Burrow in the quarterback race.
I think yeah, if they both had the same exact team and same coaching, you'd be worried about that. But the Niners, I don't, it's just the Niners have a system. They have excellent coaching, and they're going to make it so that Sam Darnold, all the stuff that Sam Darnold does well are going to be highlighted. And I think Sam Darnold won't make mistakes. And I also think that Joe Burrow is going to have to face a much more difficult, much more hungry defense. So I think it'll be okay, Chardal. I think that Sam Darnold's not going to do great. He's not going to outplay Burrow, just, straight up outplay Burrow, but they don't need that because they're the more talented team.
So when you looked at Brock Purdy against Minnesota, he had 2 interceptions, and that just I thought they were going to have the victory, but then that second interception costed the Niners the win. Brock Purdy is a good quarterback, but sometimes his throws can be off. Like he doesn't really think accurately when he gets his throws off. So sometimes they're a little bit way too low, or they're a little bit way too high. And
yeah, I'm agree. But Chardal, don't you think that the concussion probably that was probably because of the concussion?
I don't know if that was the result of the concussion for Brock Purdy.
Well,
it might have been, but
in my head, it wasn't anything about like his ability. Those were just dumb decisions. And I think if you can say anything about a concussion is that it impairs your decision making, and your ability to make quick decisions. And with that one that he meant to throw to Jennings that got picked, he just completely, his timing was all off. His spot was all off, and it just seemed like a complete brain fart. And that seemed like, due to a concussion to me. The last one, I mean, also maybe not the best. I don't know. The last one was kind of like, I didn't think they were going to go down and score with a minute left to go 60 yards. I don't think there's maybe 5 teams in the league that I would think that they might do that. Like the Eagles or the Chiefs. I'm not even sure about the Bills right now with Josh Allen. So
to me,
I'm not putting that on him.
To me, when I look at Brock Purdy and he doesn't have a great game, it kind of reminds me of Steph Curry. When Steph Curry he has a bad shooting night, he's not getting any shots to fall down the net, nothing's going right for him. That's very similar to Brock Purdy, because in a way, a point guard and a quarterback, in a way they're similar. Like it's different. It's basketball and football. They're 2 different sports. I don't like to mix sports up like that, but a point guard and a quarterback are kind of similar, because the quarterback is the leader on the football field and the point guard is a leader on the basketball court. So in a way, they're similar in a way that they operate.
I think it's a great comp. I think it's a great comparison, Chardal.
Yeah, because they do operate in the same way, right? Like a quarterback and a point guard. Because they're like leader of the offense.
I totally agree. Now, like in the NBA, it used to be there was point guards. All the point guards were like Chris Paul, and Chris Paul was the best of them. Guys that don't really score that much. They can score a little bit, but they're just trying to get other people involved. They might not be that great at shooting. Now there's kind of a new position that Steph Curry created. Basically, I would call it a hybrid guard, where they are the point guard, but they're also the shooting guard. They can, like Steph Curry can play a game where he is playing traditional point guard, but he's better off as that hybrid guard where he is the primary scorer. He should be leading the team in shots. And that ability to vacillate back and forth between being like, an all-star shooting guard and an all-star point guard is like what makes a guy like Curry so great. Same thing with like a Dame Lillard. And we're seeing that in the NFL. The QB position used to kind of be that's why I don't like this term system QB, because there just are quarterbacks out there that are like point guards, like traditional point guards. That's what Brock Purdy is. He's a traditional point guard. And you can be awesome. And it depends on the system a little bit and the coaching, but you can be, like Brock Purdy, you can be putting up top 5 stats in the league as a traditional point guard. But then there's the guys that like Mahomes or Josh Allen, Herbert to an extent, definitely Herbert. These guys are kind of like the hybrid guards. And now Patrick Mahomes would be the Steph Curry because he'd be the best example of this. But they have the ability to not just play the traditional point guard role that like a Brock Purdy does, But when their team needs it and they're down a minute left, no timeouts, and they have to make things happen, they can turn into that shooting guard, making things happen on the fly, slinging it down the field. They can do that. So I think everyone just is so caught up with like, oh, you need to get someone that can do both. But it's like, in reality, there's just not that many people that are even that good at being a traditional point guard, traditional QB. And I think Purdy's at the top of the list.
So do you think that Steph Curry is ruining the game, and he's the man who revolutionized the three-point shot? Now every player in the NBA wants to adopt the three-point shot because he's the guy that it's not named after, but every player wants to shoot a three-pointer.
Yeah, sort of like the same. Yeah, I totally agree. Absolutely. Now, I don't know. We're going to see Victor Wembanyama tonight, and it does seem like the bigs are kind of back in this league. There's just some freak shows.
So I went to the Warriors and Suns game for my 27th birthday. My mom took me. It was an amazing experience. But I was hoping to get a win on my birthday, but unfortunately it didn't go our way, and we lost by 4.
Yep. Mitchell and Ness says conspiracy.
Because that was really special, because that was it's our tradition. Me and my mom go every year to all the opening night games for the Warriors. And it's really sad that they weren't able to get a win on my birthday.
I know. Did you?
And Curry put up 27, but I was hoping that Curry would get up at least 50 or 60 on my birthday.
Yeah.
And he had 27, which was not up there. It's a good amount. It's a good amount of points. It's a great number that points that he scored, but it's not like high up there like what he normally scores, right? Like 60 or 50 points, 45, stuff like that.
Yeah, he came out super hot. He had that 3 right off the bat. I think he just never was able to like find the rhythm because of the foul trouble. Were you one of the guys like cheering for the old lady that took the spill?
Which spill?
There was an old lady on the sideline that fell down, and she walked out, and then she got the crowd all fired up.
I don't know if I saw that.
Oh, well, happy birthday. What did you turn 28?
I turned 27.
27. So I just turned 28. Hey, Mitchell and Ness says conspiracy theory hat. I think Brock is feeling severe fatigue. It has been tested like this since it has never been tested like this since the surgery. He needs deloading time in training camp, and even admitted to Aikman it's not 100%. This concussion gives him 2 weeks to rest the arm. I do believe that he got concussed. And like sometimes with like the really bad concussions, yeah, with all the adrenaline, you can't really tell, but you get a little bit of time. And what Kyle said is like he really started to realize it on the plane ride home. But I also think that 2 things can be true. I caught that Aikman remark. He said it's not 100%. It's still, he still needs time for it for a lot of the arm strength and all that stuff to come back.
Yeah.
I think this is this is a good rest for, rest his brain, but he also gets the rest for his throwing arm, and he's going to be just a stud coming out of the bye.
For me, I attended 4 opening night games, and out of 3 of those games resulted in an L, and one of them resulted in a W.
Well, that's good then, because the Warriors still, they've won over 45 games pretty much, all those years. So maybe they just are tough, and they're not that great the first game.
But the greatest opening night game that I went to in the past was when the Lakers play the Warriors, because that's the first time that I got to see LeBron on the court, AD on the court, Austin Reeves on the court.
Yeah, Austin. How about Austin Reeves?
That's the first time I went to a Lakers and Warriors game, like not a preseason game but a regular season game. So that was pretty fun to see the main duo for the Lakers out on the court.
Yeah, absolutely. You don't see
because I don't get to see those main 3 stars for the Lakers on the court against the Warriors. You never get to see anything like that.
No,
and it was the first game of the season, so that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, LeBron also interesting. He was only played 29 minutes last night, and I guess that's kind of what they're going with for this year. That's what Ty Lue is saying. They're going to keep him under 30 minutes a night. So Anthony Davis has to have a big year, but really Austin Reeves, like, here's your time to shine, dog. Okay, Carlo Pete points this out, Chardal. Now, does this make you rethink it, the Curry's performance?
Yeah,
He scored 20
this
for your 27th birthday.
this makes me I'm actually excited now. Like this kind of lifts up my spirits that he scored 27 points on my 27th birthday.
Oh my God. If only you were older, Shardal. Like, if you imagine if you were like 49 or you turned 50 and you came opening night and Curry would have to get 50.
This makes
probably would've won.
everybody wishing me a happy belated birthday is making me really happy right now that my birthday is over, but people are still wishing me right now, even though my birthday is past.
Yeah. Oh, I'm so happy, dude. 27 is a big one. You're officially kind of late 30s now. I mean, sorry, late 20s. I was in 27, 28, some good years for a complete identity crisis.
So he scored 27 on my 27th birthday. Maybe next time maybe next time I go maybe 30 on my 30th birthday.
Yeah, I know. He'll still be there. He'll be ready. Yeah, exactly. I just hope they have a home game. Frank Mann says, hope you get to 500. Thank you, Frank. You are the man. Yeah, I think I'm like 8 away, maybe. So subscribe, please, if you haven't already. Yeah, Mark Graves. Yeah, exactly. Mark Graves says, if Shardal turned 32, the Warriors would have won. LOL. It's true. Shardal, do you think that October is the best birthday month?
I think October is the best birthday month.
I think so too. I'm an October birthday. You know, it's good because it's almost like your own little holiday. You know, when you're younger, you get to have your birthday, then it's Halloween, then it's Thanksgiving, then it's Christmas. It's just a good run. And then also you have all three major sports going on your birthday.
I'm a big Stephen Curry fan. When I went to the game, I was decked out in everything Steph Curry. I had a Steph Curry jersey on. I had the Curry shoes on that I bought for myself.
Oh, will be fellow October birthday in the house, 23rd. Yes, birthday month, October. All right, yeah, Shardal, do you see this hat? This is
I
the
see
new
that. I see the hat. The hat.
the
that
new
you're
Curry
wearing.
brand logo. I think it's a pretty
Yeah.
sweet logo. I've been trying to get like, because I was like, I need a bunch of new stuff. I've been trying to get decked out in like Curry brand stuff. Like I want to get some like Curry brand joggers, and because it's like, you know, everyone has like Jordan. I want to be repping Curry. But the thing is, Under Armour, man, they're botching it. They really should be like pushing the Curry brand thing, and they don't have any tall sizes. So they're out. They just don't make tall sizes, which is crazy because he's a basketball player. And you'd think a lot of basketball players would want to wear, you know, his sweats, his joggers, his pants, his golf pants. So yeah, I can't wear them. Carlo P, I agree. I'm October 12th, so I'm right after you, bro. I was actually born Friday the 13th. Do you know that, Shardal?
I didn't know that you're born on Friday the 13th.
Yeah, I'd say the scare. Would you say that's the scariest Friday the 13th?
I think Friday the 13th is the
October?
scariest day because it's superstitious. Friday the 13th is supposed to be like a superstitious day when everything goes wrong.
Yeah. And also it's in October. Like Friday the 13th in like May doesn't hit as hard as Friday the 13th in the spooky month. Oh yeah, Carlo P says especially when the Giants are in the playoffs. Absolutely. I love the Giants are in the playoffs. They're orange and black, Halloween vibes. It's so good. Mark Graves, happy birthday, Ryan, Wilby, and Chardall. Love you, Mark Graves.
What were your thoughts when the San Francisco Giants hired Bob Melvin as their next manager of the team?
Okay, part of me says a little bit of an overcompensation. Like you had Kapler. Now, what's the opposite of Kapler? An old, grizzled baseball man has a ton of managerial experience. And that's what they did. And I'm happy about it. But it does feel a little like it reeks a little bit of maybe a PR move. Like they're trying to, you know, all the people that have been down on Kapler and the analytics and all that stuff, like, see, we're going back. It's just like Bochy. Carlo P, thank you, man. Happy birthday, Will B. Thank
Ryan,
you. Oh, it's a
you know,
birthday fest going on.
Ryan,
Happy,
my goal is to be a medical personnel for the Niners. You
oh,
know,
that'd
when
be,
the 49ers players go down and all the people who work for the medical team surround the player and make
yeah.
sure if he's okay. I always watch on TV when they're doing that. It always like makes me happy that the medical team is like looking at the player at the injury that he received, and they're helping him like if he sprained an ankle, they help him get off the field and then take him back to the locker room.
Yeah, I think that'd be a sweet job.
Because it
Uh,
always touches me like it just makes me feel like it's like it puts a lot of like it puts a smile on your face because like he's injured, and then it makes me feel good how all the medical team like ask the player, like what's your like just like because he's in terrible pain and they just want to help him get better.
yeah. I mean, it is just crazy. Like they say, like playing in the NFL, it's like getting in like a bunch of like mini car crashes, but like imagine if you just had like a team, you got in a car crash and you just had a team of like 5 or 6 people that just ran onto the freeway and just attended to you immediately. That'd be pretty sweet. Um, dang, Shardal. What I'm trying to think what else what other topics do you want to talk about?
So how many games how many games do you think the Warriors are gonna win this year? Do you think they're gonna probably win like maybe like 40, 30, or 30 games, 40 games?
I think they're going to win about 46. 46, 47, and it'll be enough to be they're going to be like kind of clustered in a group of teams that are between 39 wins and 48 wins. And I think they'll probably end up with the 4 seed, maybe the 5th seed.
Hey Ryan, do you
Um,
like my profile picture? It's a mashup of the Giants, the 49ers, the Warriors, and the Sharks.
your profile picture?
Yeah, it's a mashup of all
Oh,
the
I
four
don't
various sports teams.
oh, I don't see it right now. But on your YouTube channel though.
No, so on this on your show, I have my picture is a mashup
Oh, yeah.
of
Well, I
all the
remember
four sports teams.
I've seen it before. I'm not seeing it right now, but I've seen it before. I think it's awesome. I wish I was into the Sharks a little bit more. Um,
Looks at the Sharks need to get back on the winning track because they're not having a good record this year. They're 0-6.
I totally agree. You know what, Chardal? We're gonna do a little online shopping right now because Mitchell and Ness brings up a good point. You wish that Clay or Steph had some. It's like this is like the extent of the Curry brand stuff. And they're not doing very good like marketing. So like, yeah, okay, that shoe's okay, but it's like as far as like cool stuff with the Curry brand, like sleeveless hoodie, I'm just not gonna get that much use out of that. Splash shorts with like a teal, I'm not gonna use those. I'm not gonna overpay for Curry brand socks. These kind of, I mean, if these were like in what I don't, these are like the old school kind of lame Curries, and it doesn't have the Curry brand logo. That's for women, boys. Chardal, let me know if any of this stuff looks cool to you. I mean, look, this is like a nice hoodie with the little Curry brand. Look, they don't ever have tall sizes. But it's like you're not why I'm not gonna pay $110 for that. Yeah, man. I mean, I think some of the golf stuff's cool. These are only $85. See, these are not bad. These I could rock these like in some jeans. Like these, what do you think of these, Chardal? Yeah, Chardal? Oh, I think you're muted. Well, anyway, I think those could maybe look good. In like you could
I
maybe
mean,
like wear those out. I'm
I
not
mean, I
really
could
sure.
I could go for those, but it's just like maybe it's not like I'm not gonna spend a lot of money for it if I'm not gonna use it.
Exactly. And like, okay, Curry golf, like that's such a niche product. It would be dope to have some Curry golf shoes. Um, it's just like even just like the swag that he wears like is not available for purchase. Like this is all I mean, the shoes are just not that good. Like I'm not gonna buy that hoodie. It's just like an average hoodie. I wanted these. These are like joggers, like pretty sweet joggers. They don't come in, they're $110. They don't come in tall sizes. I mean, a lot of this is lame. The mouth guard.
I mean,
Like
for
this
me,
is
I
what you
would.
got? Like, come on. Like if you
For me,
like that the
for
Curry
me, I
brand
would.
is Under Armour. Like they should be making as much stuff as they make for at least LeBron. At least for like LeBron, Nike makes for like LeBron. Like it's
For
just
me, I would buy like a short sleeve shirt because I run a lot. So I don't want to be wearing a heavy shirt because I want to like when I run I sweat a lot. So I don't want to be wearing something when it's uncomfortable to wear when I run because I normally like run at the treadmill or go to the gym and run around the block. And I don't want to wear like a heavy shirt which is made of like a material where it's not sweat wicking where like it's gonna like if you let the sweat dry off it's gonna wick all the moisture and all the fabric from the shirt.
yeah, I mean, why? You know what? That brings up a great point. Why is there not like a workout material Curry shirt? Like, I'm sure that those exist. I'm sure Curry has them, but they're just not out there. And I would rep that. I would rep that shit because nobody else is really repping it. Will B says Sharks are in a rebuild. Sharks will pick it up back in a couple, pick it back up in a couple of years. In a couple of years, I will commit. I'll get the NHL video game and figure it out. 110 for a sweatshirt they trip in. 100% agree. Curry ones in the dub color is sick. Yeah, I mean, I guess I could just. It's just I'm like looking for stuff like the new cool. Now that I'm in LA, I'm like, oh, I need like better style. Um, like it's like cool to wear like Jordans or something, or just like Air Force Ones, I guess, just like in like some white or maybe like white and black. Rock those with some jeans and a black shirt. I would love to be able to rock Curries. Like that would be dope. Just be the one guy just out there repping Curries, but I just
On
don't really
the
know which one.
on the Warriors, who would you think is the best dressed player on the Golden State Warriors? Who do you think has the best pregame fit?
Hmm.
Because I'm really into like looking at different NBA players and looking at their fashion idea and what kind of what they like to wear before coming into the arena.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. I mean, sometimes I like what Curry's rocking. Um, Draymond, I can't really think about Dray. I can't really picture what Draymond is like. Clay wears some goofy stuff. Yeah, I mean, I'm not really into the whole. There's kind of like an androgynous sort of NBA brand style thing, like Russell Westbrook wearing skirts, and that's like kind of a thing now. Not for me, Maybe it's styling, but I don't really have fashion taste, so not for me. Mitchell Ness says Nike would be killing it with Curry brand. I know. It's like it's such a slam dunk, and it makes me upset because like even Under Armour, I mean, sorry, not Under Armour, even New Balance, like they're doing a good ass job marketing Kawhi's stuff, and then just like their whole like basketball division, and it's like this now you've got this cool Curry brand logo, like just freaking slap that on your Under Armour stuff. Under Armour has like a million, wicking sort of things. Like I want athletic shorts. I want it like Jordan. Like I want to be swagged out with freaking Curry brand, bro. But maybe when Curry's retired, I
When
don't know.
when analyzing the remainder of the 49ers schedule, which games are you going to be looking forward to watching?
Let's see. 49ers schedule. Let's go through it. There's some good ass games on the schedule. Obviously, everyone's gonna say the fit game. Just in terms of games where they're gonna be the underdog. Versus, I mean, I'm looking forward to Chardal. Are you looking forward to at Jacksonville? I mean, that sounds like a fun game. Right off the bye, you get Purdy back, and you're playing at Jacksonville. Jacksonville's been
Yeah,
hot.
yeah, I'm looking forward to that game. I think that's going to be a pretty good game. Definitely with Purdy back, that's going to be definitely a positive statement right there to see him back on the field.
Yeah, I want to beat Jacksonville. I don't know why. I'm just not really a Trevor Lawrence guy. Then the next week, home Tampa. Oh God, I could see that being like a dumb, ugly game. Uh, but they're good. They got to win that one. I think they go 2-0 out of the bye. At Seattle, they might lose. I think they drop one of these Seattle games because this is such a look ahead spot. They have at Philadelphia December 3rd.
I'm really excited that this is my debut on the on your show West Coast Bias.
Oh yeah, Shardal, I'm loving having you here because it's easy. I'm not Colin Cowherd. I don't really know how to go by myself. But look at this, Shardal. This is a tough. This is I'm calling this one a loss right here. They go at Jacksonville, then all the way back across the country, home Tampa Bay. Then on a short week, you're playing. Well, I guess it's probably a short week for Seattle too, but you're playing Seattle at Seattle on a Thursday. That feels like a loss because
I
the
bet the
upcoming.
next time I go maybe go on the live chat or when Larry's show is going on, maybe I should tell him that I was on your show West Coast Bias. He'll probably be really excited if I let him know that I was on Ryan's show.
Oh, absolutely. I think so too. Oh wait, this is not the good. How do I? How do I? Okay, there we go. Now we can see both of us. Okay, so I think they beat Philly at Philly. I really believe that. But I think the price of beating Philly at Philly is that it's sandwiched in between two Seattle games, and they're going to lose one of those. They're going to lose one of the Seattle games, then they're going to beat Philly. At Arizona, they're going to win that. Home Baltimore, that is going to be an incredible game. Christmas Day, 5:15. I think they get them. I would be, if it was on the road, I would say Ravens. The Niners are going to win that game. Then at Washington, home for the Rams, who are going to be completely beat up. So I think they maybe have one, two. I mean, they're going to probably.
It's so weird that the
two more
tickets for
losses.
the Washington Commanders game is $44. But I don't know. I'm thinking about going to that game, but then we have our Christmas traditions and everything like that. So I'm confused whether I want to travel to that game
Go all the way to Washington D.C.
Yeah, because we have but maybe I was thinking that I could ask my parents if we could celebrate Christmas in Washington D.C. Maybe go and celebrate Christmas and shop around for Christmas, and then maybe go to Washington and catch the Niners and Commanders game.
Yeah, I think that would be a fun game because
I'm
they're going to have
recommending
20
asking my
sacks.
mom if we can go and celebrate Christmas in Washington D.C.
Do it, Shardal. Do it. That'd be awesome. So that Washington game is December 31st. So you could ask if you want to go spend New Year's in Washington D.C. The game on Christmas is actually at home versus Baltimore.
Like, what do you like about Brock Purdy? Like, what have you seen in Brock Purdy that really impresses you?
I think he's just got the it. He's got the it factor. Now his processing is obviously pretty insane. I mean, he just does like, I don't know. It's like Shanahan said it. Like it feels like Shanahan is inside his head. Like they are simpatico, and I don't know. It's just like he's just the perfect combination of like spunky. Like I feel like I don't want to say this is like maybe will annoy people because Seahawks and stuff, but like I feel like he's kind of our Russell Wilson. Like I don't know if he'll ever get to the level of Russell Wilson with those sweet deep balls, but just as far as like being the rookie quarterback on a great contract, I think that the Niners are going to win a Super Bowl with him. It's going to be everyone's going to kind of say, oh, it's the defense, the roster's loaded. And then I think just with a couple more years in the league, and when they eventually have to pay him, I think he's going to take kind of a step up when, all of a sudden he's eating into the cap. I think he'll be better.
It's kind of unfortunate that the 49ers are not playing the Jets because that would be kind of exciting to see Purdy against Bree. I think Brees Hall played for Iowa State, so it would have been really exciting to see both of those former Iowa State football players go and battle each other.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. Also, Iowa State is just, they're not looking too good since Brock left. So I mean, maybe it was something with that offense. I don't know as to why he wasn't more phenomenal in college. Brand New says Brock is not elite.
What were your thoughts
What,
on
I don't know what, I don't even know what elite means.
what were your thoughts on Steve Wilkes on the 49ers? Do you think that Steve Wilkes is doing a really good job managing this team as a defensive coordinator?
I don't really know. I mean, I think that we're going to learn a lot about Steve Wilkes this week. It's clear that there is a slight difference, more of an emphasis on the corners. I know the blitzing, like Bosa said, he's not really used to it. Could just be it's taken a little bit of time to sort of meld Steve Wilkes' vision with this defense, but I mean, it's kind of understandable because they've basically been running the same stuff, since Shanahan got there with Saleh. And then when Saleh left, you got D'Amico, who literally is just a better version of, I think, a smarter football version of Saleh. His adjustments, the stuff he would do, mixing it up, and he was just so awesome. And I felt like the guys just wanted to play for him so much. And I feel like they still rave about him. So I don't know. Steve Wilkes, I don't love that he's like up in the box. I kind of wish that maybe they had gotten somebody else, but yeah, Chardal, I'm gonna have to jump off.
Ryan,
it was
really, great. It was really great coming on your show, West Coast Bias. I hope you get a lot more guests on here talking everything about sports. Guys, make sure to click the like and subscribe button for West Coast Bias. He, I want his channel to start to get monetized, so he can send super chats and everything like that, and he can you can do everything like that. But he's a really great guy, and his channel is really amazing, and he makes all this great content. So make sure to reach out to him, and if you want to get on the show, just email him, and he'll try and get you on the show.
Yeah, or hit me up on Twitter. I'm at West Coast Smitty on Twitter. Also put my email in there if anyone just does want to email me. Ryan at westcoastbias.net. But yeah, I don't know if probably everyone watching is already, just like the longtime subscriber guys, but so close to 500. I think I'm 9 away. So yeah, I'd really appreciate it if I got to subscribe. Thank you so much, Chardal, for jumping on the show. Thanks to Andrew Doring. This was a fun one. This is the first time I've really just gone solo for the most part, and I think it went pretty well. So yeah, thank you so much, Chardal.
Was this one of the best shows so far?
I mean, it's just a different show. Like I've always done it with my buddy Andrew Cassidy. We run through the games, but it's just as far as a solo show that this is probably the best solo show.
Bye, Ryan, and if I'm not doing anything, I would love to hop onto your show maybe another time.
Yeah, and I'm going to be doing fantasy football with Dan, Coach Emilio tonight, so that should be fun. Probably around 8:00. And then tomorrow I'm doing a big NBA preview in person with Andrew Cassidy's flying down here to LA. So I'll get him mic'd up. We're going to do it in person.
So if you have the show with Dan tonight, let him know that I joined the show with Ryan Smitty.
I think I absolutely agree. And let's go out on this. All right, Chardal, I'm gonna let you go. Thank you so much. You're an awesome hype man. Love you, dude. Happy birthday. All right, the great Chardal, the first appearance. Dude, ready, set, rush. Let's end with that. Yeah, Darnold's gonna have a good game. He's the exact kind of guy that like you put him in. Okay, for 1 or 2 games, he can look really good. And Shanahan is just, this is like his flex week. Like I remember back when they had Brian Hoyer and there was that Thursday night football game that was just crazy scoring. And they totally caught up with the Rams. Like when the Rams were the best team in the league, it seemed like it was super high scoring. I just think that Shanahan's going to pull out all the tricks. For the most part, they're just going to control the ball. They're you know, they're going to keep their defense off the field. It's going to be a Shanahan masterclass. Darnold's going to look good. Hyperbole will be flying. And I bet he does have like one pretty sweet deep shot. I'd say maybe one turnover, maybe one, but I think that's okay. I think they're going to crush. Like I can't wait for this to get to 2.5 because it shall be smashed. Will B says, don't think it's crazy. I have faith in Darnold as well. Yes. You need the backup quarterback position is so underrated in this league. It is such a luxury to have. Like, I think about the Ravens, like the way they have Tyler Huntley. You know, I mean, the Colts, Gardner Minshew, but like just these contender teams that it's just, you just don't want one injury to completely derail your season. I think Darnold is like the perfect backup for Purdy. Similar stuff. He's going to be great. Yeah, I'm pretty confident in this Niners team. I'm just really confident in this Niners defense. This is a statement game. No Debo. Keep Trent Williams out. Steve Wilkes, Charvarius Ward, Nick Bosa, Fred Warner, McCaffrey. These guys are fired up, and they're going to take some Bengals cheeks. And I like the Bengals, but they are going to slap around some Bengals cheeks. I'm going to say right now my prediction is 24 to 24-20. I'll say 24-20. Maybe less. 20. Okay, I'll say 20-17 Niners. No. 20. Okay, I'm going 24-17 Niners. And I think they have control of the game for the most part. He'll be fine as backup. Sorry guys if I think I started losing a little bit of steam there about the last 30 minutes, but that was just a fun time. I'm going to start doing this more. I didn't really realize that I had the ability to just do this. And as long as like the chat, like some people are in the chat, talking, giving me ideas of stuff to talk about, this is what I want to do for my career. So I love all of you for supporting me. Please subscribe, like, comment, all that stuff. And with that, I'll do this outro.